You're tuned in to a Grown Folks production. In mix with the commish, Nate.
Hey now, welcome. It is time to finally talk about Madden 25. I'm not going to waste any time at all. We're going to jump right into it. I'm your host, the founder of the OMFL and the Grown Folks online community. And with me, as always, is my buddy, Mr. Maniac. Ooh, where'd Maniac go? Hold on a second. Maniac disappeared. Let me get Maniac back up here. I don't know why Maniac disappeared, but we got him back now. Mr. Maniac, the owner of the Deuce and now the Deuce Dynasty. I got to fix your name too here since that was for Mr. Pooty T. Mr. Maniac, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. Man, I'm looking forward to talking about some Madden, because, man, they haven't had much out. NCAA or college football has kind of been running the airways here lately, so interested to see what all this Madden stuff's going down.
I was going to say there were rumors of College Football 25 not being a real game and that it was all fake and all rumors. I'm starting to think, even though I played the beta of Madden 25, that Madden 25 is not a real game. It is not a real thing. It does not exist because it has been deathly quiet. But they finally dropped a Madden gameplay deep dive that is a whole 6 minutes and 37 seconds. So that doesn't feel too deep. It feels a little shallow if you ask me. But I know that some information, oh my God, I just watched a play on this deep dive, so I have it playing on the side of us as we talk. And the guy gets tackled, hit, it was Kamara, gets hit, ball pops straight up, picked off. I'm breaking a controller the second that happens to me. A lot to talk about, a lot to dive into. So yeah, let's just jump right into it. One of the biggest things that they're talking about is Boomstick, the world's worst name for anything ever created. We talked about that as we were doing some of our Madden pre-shows, but this is a blend between physics-based gameplay or physics-driven gameplay to become physics-based gameplay, which triggers thousands of animations depending on the size, the angle, the speed, the attributes, the abilities. And they sort of started to show some of that technology in the works. And from what I've heard from watching several different streams and different commentary on it, the hope is that one day they will never see two tackles exactly the same. We're not there yet. As I said, Madden, the beta, did feel like a step forward, not a giant leap, not there to the finished sort of thing that we all hope they can get to one day, but a definite step forward in the right direction. We've seen a lot about the physics space or the boomstick, I should say, from tackles and missed tackles to the combination of jukes and how the combination of juke and also the hit stick and the tackle, like all of those things will be interplaying with each other in case you are too early, too late, wrong angle, have a smaller player. A lot going into play when it comes to tackles in Madden 25. What do you think about the physics-based boomstick?
Well, as we talked about the name before, it is kind of odd just to say boomstick, but I will give them props because they're naming it after one of Madden's most famous sayings. You always go boom whack.
Yeah.
So give them props for that, even though the name just sounds really corny. But they're at least keeping tradition alive with Madden. I really like the fact that we're seeing a move towards this physics-based gameplay. I know it's been talked about for so many years. They've said that that they kind of started going that way. I guess probably like about 3 Maddens ago, whenever it was originally came out with. I think the PS5 gave a little bit of new hope for those types of gameplay to be implemented, but. Just watching the trailer and seeing the different branch animations that can happen from that. I mean, that you can't watch that and say that's not cool, because one, if you've been a Madden player for any amount of time, for a long time, you've known that some things are they seem like they're scripted, or you know what's going to happen in this certain situation because you've seen it, 100 times. It's the same thing over and over and over. So with them trying to get to that point to have a new tackle animation, a new branch animation come out of each tackle, that's pretty awesome in itself. Looking at that compared to the NFL, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get it to where it feels real life and having real life things happen on the field as you're playing the game. So I was just kind of watching because I've got the stream pulled up as well, and there were some sick moves. Like one of the guys just got blasted in the open field, and he stuck his hand down, kept his balance, and got forward for another 10 or 15 yards. So some of those things like that, you never see really in the previous games that we've played. So having that can be if you've got a guy that's really heavy on those attributes that will help him keep his balance and different things like that, it's going to be a plus for your team. So I can just see like different things happening, and that's pretty exciting in that point.
Yeah, it does feel really good. There's definitely some plays that happen that you're like, wow, I've never seen that before. I've never seen that happen before. There is sort of a quick early knee-jerk reaction about, oh God, how bad is tackling going to be? But you do sort of get used to it on both sides of the ball. And though the ability and the opportunity for the big play is there, you don't see it quite as often as you kind of worry about seeing it and what you may see early on. They also increased field sense, which is sort of all the life of the game, and the game does feel more alive. You see a lot more pre-play animations and interactions. You see a lot more post-play interactions and things happen. The crowd responds a little bit better. I don't remember the crowd really standing out in the beta, but that is supposed to be something that they improved upon. It does make the game feel more alive, which is really good. And if NCAA is any sort of sneak peek to what it could be in Madden, though the atmospheres are different, the music, all that kind of stuff, right? It does feel that the game will feel better and more alive and not so just kind of dead and bland in between plays. So I think that's going to be really good. You've been playing the mess out of NCAA. What's been sort of the environment?
The environment in NCAA, man, it's so much more immersive than in any of the Maddens in the past. I mean, and really, probably if you go back to NCAA 14, that was one of the things they did a little bit better. I think even in Madden during that time, but it makes you feel really like a part of what's going on the field at the time and moment with the crowd chants, the band going off in the background, stadium announcers, those different things. Even though sometimes the presentation announcers or the TV announcers, they'll get a little bit on your nerves because sometimes, even with all the stuff they do, they get a little bit repetitive at things. But just
I turn that off first. That is the first thing I turn off.
But a lot of those things do immerse you into the game and kind of give you that a feeling like you're third and 15 and even though you have the little bit of the shake going on and the play art's going crazy, but the stands and the fans going nuts just makes you feel like you're right there. So it does kind of give you like a little bit of a different experience than what you've experienced in Madden, because I don't know, it just seems to have its next level of getting you just like immersed into the game. So if Madden is able to capture any part of that and get that put into the game, then I think the immersive part of being in the stadium, in the game, play by play, will be something that'll actually help take Madden to a next level for that immersion.
Bird in the chat, juke, juke, spin, juke. That's what he's going to be doing in Madden 25. They reloaded the hit stick, the 20th anniversary of adding the hit stick, and I do like the new version of it. I'm going to be very interested to see, though, if people get that timing right. Is it like 100%? Now, we have seen video playing here where it isn't 100% fumble or pop out, but there definitely was the play where easy catch, gets hit from the back, ball pops straight up, intercepted. That's going to drive me absolutely batty and insane if it happens. But the hit stick's been reloaded, and we just got to get our hands on it and see how well it works, because I hated the old hit stick with everything in me.
Yeah, I just had this thought of having a new segment in Press Pass Live, Boomstick King of the Week.
It's probably going to be D-Money or D-Wayne, yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things like you go like, oh, is it going to be OP? Is it going to be? But you know, by their videos, and if they portray it like they're showing the videos, which I know like they put all this together, you know. So if you see a gameplay throughout a full game, you'll get a little bit more better idea of like how effective or not effective that it could be. Yeah, if it's not just a 100%, even if you hit it perfectly, and you still have a chance to break it, because guess what, the guy that you're running the ball with has a 60-pound advantage over the guy that's trying to come in and hit stick you. Even though he may have the ability to hit stick, you should still be able to kind of absorb that, maybe bounce off of it. So again, like it's going to be interesting to see how all that plays into effect. Is it going to be, again, like I said, you hit it perfectly, it's going to be, you know, almost a given, or is there going to be different things that's going to branch out of that okay, could happen? And like I said, what they're showing here on this gameplay footage, it looks like that maybe that's the case. Maybe there's more luck or the draw to it than it is than just being something that's going to happen for sure. So
the offensive line adjustments do feel really good, at least in the beta. You actually have a pocket. If you've watched any of my streams on Madden, you know I go absolutely batty. You cannot step up in a pocket that 70 overall, 80 overall defensive tackles are in your face every single time. You just can't have a real pocket farm and get awarded for doing the right play, with just stepping up, buying some more time, and finding the open receiver. That does feel much, much better in the Madden 25 beta. We'll see what kind of improvements and tweaks. They also show now offensive line blocking play art and if players are blitzing or not. The one tweak or sort of criticism I would give for that is I would let that be tied to awareness in some form or fashion, that as you get specific awareness, you get more blocking art, and a lower awareness, you only get one or two, or it might be wrong. And then as you get into the 90s or whatever, you start to be able to identify which defensive players are blitzing after you. Like, I just wish it was tied to awareness, so that there sort of is that benefit for building up your quarterback's awareness, building up your player's awareness. But either way, you do have a pocket now. You do have play art for the offensive line, so you sort of know exactly who is blocking who, and you sort of have these, I don't know why I keep saying sort of, you do have these identifiers for who is going to be blitzing you, and I like it. I just wish it were tied to some type of awareness and awarded players who started higher overall or higher aware players, instead of every single quarterback can make the exact same reads.
Yeah, anytime they have something where like everybody can do it the same without any like maybe tail off depending upon your players' awareness or attributes or whatever, then that kind of raises an eyebrow, because again, that goes along the lines of being a little bit more geared towards the competitive crowd of the guys doing all the things on the sticks, where OMFL and other franchises, you look to have, if you use the word simulated or fair play or however you identify, you want things to be a little bit more organic, and so having those, if it's just where everybody can do it and there's uh, no skill gap, then it's kind of, almost kind of defeats the purpose to me of the new feature. But if there is something, like you said, if the awareness is tied to that, then you start seeing like, okay, well, I've got to build this guy up on my line or my quarterback or this to make sure that we're improving in this part of the game, because, hey, this is a vital part of the game, and it's not like in previous Maddens where like, oh, I can survive with a 70 overall lineman or quarterback, and get away with it all, and that just doesn't make any sense, compared to what we would see in real life.
Yeah, maybe it's tied to the center ratings, right? And the center, if he has a high enough awareness or a high enough rating, he's the one helping you identify the blockers. I don't know. There's no way. I just have a hard time believing that there's no way that team didn't have that discussion in some form or fashion. They had to have had that discussion, and there's probably a restriction or something too complicated, but that would be a nice sort of next step after all of this, because it just would make ratings matter even more. And as we're looking at this, I got one more thing we'll talk about, and then if you have anything that you've seen on here, but we don't know what mode this is played on. This is a trailer. They want the big play. They want the crazy play. They're trying to show off this technology. They're not just playing a regular game. And so how often do we see these things? As I played the beta, I didn't see them a lot. Now, I only had 1 or 2 human games. I think only 2. I think it was like 1.5. But it just really depends on what mode was this played on, how long, was this like 1,000 hours worth of film that they cut this 6-minute video from? Like, who knows? So let's just see how often these things happen. And hopefully it does feel more organic and realistic and not as sort of arcadey, which brings me sort of to the last thing I want to talk about. I hate the new catch stuff. All of these one-handed catches are just maddening, and I hope, with our rules, we don't see a ton of that stuff, but just what they showed off, it's like, sure, can some players make the one-handed catch? Absolutely. They are very talented. These are big men, talented men, great hands, but like, not everybody's up there grabbing one-hand windmill catches like they're Odell Beckham during the game in the need of a touchdown. And I don't know, that just felt very arcadey. And if you've played NCAA, they're definitely putting in a lot of arcadey things because they want that. They want the big play. They're aiming it towards a younger generation who wants the score, who wants the big play, who wants the TikTok clip, all of these things. So we'll just have to see exactly how it goes, but I absolutely hated the new catch stuff.
Yeah, it can get, if you can use the word OP, I know we throw that phrase around a lot, because even in our discussion, we've been talking about the catching and stuff of certain positions, and we had brought up the point of, like, back when Odell Beckham Jr. was on the cover, they brought in that crazy catch, and then the next thing you know, like, CPU or human catching, it didn't matter if you clicked on or not. If the ball was in the area, they were going up and making those crazy catches like all the time. You're like, man, this is getting like so old, and it just kind of got repetitive, and sometimes there wasn't nothing you could do about it, and so you just had to be at the mercy of that animation. But if they implement it properly, and there's only a few that can do it, or you got to get to a certain point before you're able to do it, then great. But again, from times past, and we know their track record, a lot of these things, when they bring it in, they want it to be predominant.
Yeah.
They want it to happen a lot, and so and then that in itself can cause something to be OP or overly triggered, and so it makes it hard for like leagues that want to be, again, like I said, sim, fair play, more realistic towards kind of like the having more uh, uh, branch things happen instead of just the normal, like, you throw it up deep, you're gonna get this animation 9 out of 10 times. That's just dumb. And so you want things to happen, and there be a little bit more of a chance, especially if you got a 70 overall wide receiver that maybe has mid 80s catch. He's not great or whatever, and then he's going up against a 95 cornerback that's just really a lockdown, and then he's going up making those type of catches like every time. That's where it gets dicey.
Yep.
For leagues.
I do love, it's my absolutely last one. I do love the new balance features for running back, or really anyone who has the ball. So new balance features for ball carriers and the new setup move. I think that's going to be really fun, sort of in the open field. I know there are guys like Bird, we give him a hard time, who are really more talented at doing moves in the open field. I never was very good at it, but I feel like now you have more tools in your hand to sort of be able to quickly access those instead of just hoping that you get the right animation triggered. Overall, Madden 25 will be a step forward. It will be a different game. It will sort of look the same. I think you're tapped out on how it looks. It's going to look how it looks. Like those big jumps in graphics, those days are old. They're gone. I think the way it looks is the way it looks. I wish they'd bring back things like, and maybe they are there and I just never realized them because I play in a dome, but we used to have the, what did they call it? But it was like, you would start at dusk and it would turn into night. It's like evolving environment. They used to have that.
It was progressive lighting system.
Progressive lighting, something like that, right? I don't think we really see a lot of that. So I think that's one area that they could bring back one day or whatever. But overall, Madden 25 will be a step in the right direction, a next step in the series. And if NCAA is telling us and showing us anything, it makes me even more excited, not just for Madden 25, but for Madden 26 and the options that can start to get added if the Madden team decides to do so, like the new passing mechanism, which I think will be great. The switch stick is back, and so if you run CFMs, the switch stick from College Football 25 is in Madden 25. Again, we don't play switch here. It's a whole nother show to talk about when, where, why, how, and people are probably going, wait, what? They don't do what? But this is just how we play. So that's why we didn't spend a ton of time on catcher or switch stick, because those are not really tools that we're going to be using in the OMFL a whole lot.
Yeah, the switch stick is kind of one of those gimmick things. I will say, like, I have a hard time sometimes because as a play, because you have to watch it. Like, as soon as the ball's hiked, if you're trying to maybe make an adjustment, like with the right stick to call like either covered pass or inside or whatever, it'll automatically throw you out to a different player. So you got to make sure like you get your call in or whatever before they snap the ball. Because if they snap the ball, then you're going to be off in left field, and they're going to tell them what you're going to do. So I really wish they would kind of like allow you to either lock it so you don't accidentally do it. You could do something to say I want to lock switch stick, not use it, blah blah blah. So again, more options you give, the better off we are. But and just I want to touch on like one thing. Again, I'm a graphics guy. I love taking screenshots. I do see a difference in the graphics for Madden 25 compared to Madden 24. A lot of the, as you're seeing it play right there, a lot of the lineman shoulder pads, quarterback shoulder pads, look like they've done, at least from these clips, have done it a lot better. Even like helmets and different things kind of fit the players a little bit better. Again, like I said, I know some of those things, some guys would probably never notice, but I do love taking screenshots. And so sometimes those things catch my eye. And I do want to say the player movements, different types of players, you're seeing more like the hard running players.
Yeah.
They run with a little bit of a aggression towards the north and south as compared like those that have really light on their feet. You know, you can see that they're kind of moving differently and stuff. So a lot of those things are really eye-catching for me, and I do like that point because it makes each player feel different instead of just like, you know, well, here's a fast guy, here's a slow guy, here's a big guy, here's a power guy. You know, that's kind of the I guess what I would label guys in Madden now. But now you may have a guy that's, you know, maybe swift, you know, quick on his feet. You got this guy that, you know, is really fast, or this guy that can go up and maybe, you know, make catches in the back of the end zone, where he's maybe not much of a threat on any other part of the field, but in the red zone. So again, hopefully that they're able to implement that right and see that those things are happening, because that can be a dynamic change for like a franchise where guys are then forced to, you know what, maybe I want to keep this 88 speed wide receiver because he's 6'5" and he can make plays in the red zone, whereas as in past, you know, it's like, well, this guy's below 90 speed, so he's going to hit the street, you know. So
I completely agree with you. Also, if you played college football at 25, and when you play Madden 25, they still take absolutely terrible angles. I don't understand why we can't get the angles figured out on defense, but we cannot. It is not a thing that we can figure out at all. And it's still bad angle time. So, we're kind of discussing a few things as a league about like what are things that we could do to sort of help curtail that. But give me some closing thoughts here. Madden 25, you didn't get to play the beta. You see the deep dive. Give me some closing thoughts.
I'm still salty about that. I didn't get no.
You and about 100,000 other people.
But, you know, it is what it is. I guess I got the short end of the stick on the draw for the beta code. So, well, I'll get the game eventually, you know, and get my hands on it and stuff. But from this video, yeah, I think it's looking promising. You know, I know with college football, having our hands down on it and stuff, the gameplay is really phenomenal. I mean, that to say with EA, it's phenomenal. Besides, you know, like you said, the tackling angles are horrendous at times, but the overall gameplay feels really fluid, really smooth. It's not clunky like you've felt in some of the games past, especially with Madden, because it's been 10 years since we had NCAA. But yeah, if what we're seeing here is what we get in the product that we have in our hands here in a few weeks, I think it's going to be a big win, a big plus. It's going to be something that we can move forward and see some improvements in not only this coming Madden, but the next Madden. But if it doesn't play to what we're kind of seeing, then it's going to bring up questions and stuff about, you know, all we've heard about, you know, in the last few years, you know, Madden's not delivering on their promise, things like that. And you know, we've all got to see what's going to happen too in franchise. You know, that's our big mo. That's what we
I hate to tell you, they're not doing nothing.
Yeah,
what we had last year is what we got.
Our community on. So, you know, but the thing it is, like, sometimes you have one Madden, and then the next Madden you're like, what they took away? They didn't do this, they didn't do that. You know, why? But you know, so again, if they deliver on the gameplay, on what they're showing here, and they didn't take away anything, maybe they added just a little something for a franchise, or give us a little nugget, and then maybe we'll be satisfied and have a good time and have some great games in the OMFL and other leagues and around.
I will say, as I close out too, the angle thing feels worse for us than it will probably any other league that plays normal, because you guys are switching, and so you can switch easy and adjust that angle. We don't switch, and so it sticks out a little bit further for us, which is why they probably will never get it 100% right, because there's no need to. No one complains about bad angles that often, because they can switch and get there pretty easy. But anyway, it's been a great show. Maniac, thank you for making time, being patient, waiting on me. It's been a heck of a week, but we're supposed to have some ratings dropping on the 29th through the 3rd. So every day when ratings drop, I'll try to find some time with Mr. Maniac. I will be free on like the 29th, 30th, whatever. I forget how many days are in July. The 1st, I will be busy through the 3rd, but I will have time in the afternoon. So Maniac and I will make time. We'll get in here and we'll start doing some ratings, man. It'll be a ton of fun.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how they've rated the guys this year and see who's got that all-elusive 99 overall rating.
It's just been so quiet. It's going to be interesting to see how they roll this out. It clearly was a choice. Like, this is a choice because of college football. Well, guys, if you're looking for CFM news, if you're looking for Dynasty news, make sure you hit the subscribe and the like button. If you just want to follow along the story of the world's oldest and longest online Madden league, then come check out the OMFL. I stream here all of my games, plus you can catch all the other games here on our channel. And then make sure to check out the Deuce. They're going to be playing a brand new Dynasty. We're kicking it up. We started last night. I already got all my recruiting for week number 1 done, and I think I got my first verbal. So LSU's going to have at least one recruit coming over there. Maniac, thanks for making some time. Guys, take care of yourselves. Take care of those around you. Know that you're loved, you matter, and I can't wait to see you on the next one. Peace.
Deuces.
Smash that like and subscribe.